It's a great honor to be able to share a few moments with you, brothers and sisters, in the next 2 or 3 days. And it's the first time I'm here in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam. And it's a pleasure to be in such a Jamaat, which is very well known. When I moved from Manchester to London to study medicine, in London, it was the first time I had encountered Khojas. Before that, I didn't know about them. And the late Mullah Asghar, I was a medical student in London, and he would sometimes explain medical rulings in English. And there were very few people those days who can speak good English. And that was the first time. And he was speaking of Zanzibar, Tanzania, and now we're here. And I think these next 2 or 3 days is his death anniversary. So may Allah enlighten his soul and may he be resurrected with the righteous. The title they've given me is Spirituality in Nahjul Balagha. And Nahjul Balagha is a compilation of the sermons, some of the letters, some of the important statements of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. It was compiled by Sayyid Radi. So it wasn't Amir al-Mu'mineen's book. It's a compilation of his teachings in the form of sermons, letters, and maxims. And I wanted to see where should I start. I thought there's nowhere like the beginning. So I'm going to share with you some of the first sentences of the first sermon of Nahjul Balagha, inshallah. He says, Alhamdulillah alladhi la yablughu midhatahu al-qailun. All praises are Allah's, whose praise speakers cannot reach. First of all praises are Allah's. When we say all praises are Allah's, when you praise your mother for her cooking, when you praise your teacher for his knowledge, when you praise your doctor for curing you, in reality, what are you doing? You're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But most of us, we get drowned in the teacher, the doctor, the grocer. We forget Allah when we say thank you. Although we have to say thank you to the doctor, to the teacher. But yes, but all praises are Allah's subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you thank the teacher, the grocer, forgetting Allah, that we call the dunya. You're recalling other than Allah. You're attentive to other than Allah. You're oblivious to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. You see the zahir, the doctor. You see the teacher, the grocer. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. You see the zahir of the worldly life. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. But in relation to akhirah, they are oblivious. They don't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And akhirah is used in opposition to ظاهرًا من الحياة الدنيا, which means akhirah is a Quranic code word for the batin of the dunya. Alhamdulillah. So even when you're thanking your mother, you're thanking Allah in reality. Now the test is, are you aware that you're thanking Allah, or are you unaware? Or to paraphrase, do you have irfan that you're praising Allah when you praise your mother, or do you not have irfan and awareness when you're praising your mother's cooking, for example? It's very important. All praises are Allah's. Praises that speakers, they can't reach. the praises of Allah. Now the question is, why can't they reach it? Have that in mind for now. Why can't they reach it? وَلَا يُحْصِي نَعْمَاءَهُ الْعَادُونَ, and whose blessings the counters can't enumerate, the blessings of Allah. Look. See, these are very delicate wording. If you just think about it, many doors open before you. Look, the blessings of Allah, and this is on a par with many verses of the Quran, you can't enumerate. What does that mean? Can you guess what that means if you think about it? It means that the blessings of Allah in whatever realm of existence, be it the physical realm, the immaterial realm, but let's stick with the physical realm for now. The blessings of Allah, the physical blessings of Allah, in this physical realm, you can't enumerate, you can't count. What does that mean? It means they're infinite. Look. In the material, physical realm of existence, this physical realm of existence is infinite. There's no end to the physical realm. This material physical realm, there's no end to it. And if you think a bit more, that's very logical. I mean, we have it in many du'as, like Qadim al-Ihsan, Mulk al-Qadim, Allah's pre-eternal kingdom. Mulk is in relation to the physical realm. The physical realm, according to the logic of the du'as, the physical realm. Not planet Earth necessarily, the physical realm. The physical realm is beyond planet Earth. But this physical realm, Mulk al-Qadim, Qadim al-Ihsan, all this, it always was. Because Allah always was, and Allah's always creating. And this physical realm will always be. You can't enumerate them. You can't put a limit to it. You can't stop it. Imagine in this physical realm of existence, this physical realm, imagine there is an end to the number of blessings. Imagine in this physical realm of existence, you reach a point which says, this is the end of physical existence. Imagine. Then the question is, what is there beyond that signpost? Either you say there's something, or you have to say there's no thing. If you say there's something, it proves the point that the physical realm keeps on going. There's no end. And you can't limit it. And you can't enumerate it. If you say after this point there's no thing, I mean nothingness, that's impossible. We don't have nothingness. Non-existence is impossible. Non-existence. Whatever is, it's all existence. And that can be proved by many of Allah's attributes. We'll come to that later. So Allah's praises, it's all His. All praises are His. The test is we have to be aware of it. Don't get drowned in the doctor, teacher, and grocer and other things. Even when you put the alarm on your car, Allah is Hafid. Allah is the preserver. But we look at the alarm device. Look how easily we can forget Allah. And Allah's blessings in whatever realm of existence you can't enumerate. They're infinite. Even physical blessings, they're infinite. There doesn't come an end to physical blessings even. وَلَا يُؤَدِّي حَقَّهُ الْمُجْتَهِدُونَ. And the strivers, those who strive to know Allah, they can't do Him justice. They can't do justice to the haqiqah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The essence of Allah. It's not possible. The essence of Allah is not possible to do justice to that. The previous two sentences was you can't do justice to His praises, His attributes. You can't do justice to His blessings, which are actions of Allah, fi'lullah. You can't do justice now to the haqiqah of Allah, the essence of Allah. It's the essence of Allah we don't have access to. We know that the essence is one. We know that the essence has many attributes. But man tafakkara fi dhatillah kayfahu halak. Whoever pontificates, deliberates on the essence of Allah in this regard, what is the quality of the essence of Allah, they will be annihilated. You can't. You can't. It's not possible. Now the answer why it's not possible is because, although it's a bit difficult to give you the answer, I need to go through a number of preliminary points, but I'll come to that in a minute, yes. Alladhi, so whose truth, Allah's truth, the strivers can't do justice to Him. Alladhi la yudrikuhu bu'dul himam, whose essence can't be understood, the essence of Allah can't be understood, can't be apprehended by lofty minds. Whatever your mind, the level you are, you can't understand that essence of Allah. It's in an unknown territory. وَلَا يَنَالُهُ غَوْصُ الْفِتَانِ, and depths of intelligence can't gain access to the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الَّذِي لَيْسَ لِصِفَتِهِ حَدٌّ مَحْدُودٌ. This Allah, His awsaf, His attributes, there's no limitation to Allah's attributes. With every attribute of Allah, you can't limit it. This is a very important difference between the Christian God and our Allah in the Quran. Because they believe God rests on the seventh day. What does that mean when God rests? You see? We believe in Ayatul Kursi, La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. Rest and sleep doesn't overtake Allah. What does it mean for Allah to sleep? Because Allah is not a physical creature like me and you to sleep, na'udhu billah. Allah's sleeping means that His attributes are not disclosing, are not manifesting, are not in action, even for a period of time. If you believe that the attributes of Allah, even for a period of time, are not in action, you've attributed sleep to Allah. This is very, very important, this. I'm not sure if I can convey the message, if I'm successful or not. Yes, although, alhamdulillah, the Sayyid here, Sayyid Adil, I had the honor of meeting him in Houston many years ago, and I enjoyed his company. Yes, wherever I go wrong, inshallah, he can compensate, and whatever he says, I accept. Yes. But the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't limit it. Since pre-eternity to post-eternity, Allah's attributes have always and are always and will always be manifesting. They're always at work. It's never sleeping. It never sleeps. That's the Judeo-Christian God, which assigns sleep to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mawla al-Muwahhideen, the master of the monotheists, says, look, this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose essence you can't gain access to. Even his physical blessings, you can't number. His praises, it's all his, you can't reach. He has attributes. We get drowned in the doctor. Allah is your Shafi. We get drowned in the alarm device. Allah is your Hafid. We get drowned in the grocer. Allah is your Razzaq. But these attributes of Allah which we forget during the day because we're drowned in the dunya, these attributes never sleep. The attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since pre-eternity to post-eternity, his rizq, he's always giving rizq. He's Ghafoor, he's always forgiving since pre-eternity to post-eternity. He's curing, he's always curing. The curing attribute never sleeps. He may be not curing this person, but the curing manifestation is happening elsewhere. All his attributes, since pre-eternity to post-eternity, they're always in play, always in action. So not even for a moment can you imagine Allah is not creating, Allah is not forgiving, Allah is not executing his revenge, Allah is not giving rizq, Allah is not being hafid. No. Now if that's the case, there's something wrong, because they taught us something when we were children. They said once upon a time there was Allah and no thing. And then Allah created things from nothingness. Oh, there's a problem here. The problem. And then Joshan al-Kabir says in relation to Allah, خَلَقَ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنَ الْأَدَمِ. There's two problems now. How are we going to sort this out? Because the du'as of Ahlul Bayt are the strongest forces of spirituality in Islam. There's no doubt about it. Because the du'as of Ahlul Bayt were given by the Imams, by the Holy Messenger, for the common lay people. The du'as don't have any technical jargon like Irfan does, or philosophy does, or fiqh does, or tafsir does. They have all jargons and specific vocabulary of its own. But the du'as of Ahlul Bayt is for everyone to understand. This idea that Allah is and nothingness, then Allah creates, let's say the sun, the moon, whatever, from non-existence. This is difficult. It's difficult to accept this. The likes of Imam Khomeini, many of the Urafa, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh Amuli, they say, look, you have to be careful here. This is not a simple subject now. Sometimes you are an expert in fiqh. We follow them. For example, Ayatollah Sistani, you believe he is a'lam in fiqh, you follow him in fiqh, no problem. Someone may believe someone else is a'lam in fiqh, they follow someone else. If someone is a specialist in fiqh, do they by default automatically become a specialist in irfan, akhlaq, philosophy, history, tafsir? What's the answer? No. They are an expert in fiqh, and that's important. And we follow them in Sharia matters. But they may not be an expert in other things. It's possible. I mean, the likes of Imam Khomeini was an expert in all of them in his 20s. There are exceptions like that. Very few. But the likes of Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh, Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, all these people, they say, look, how are you going to explain this? There's a problem with saying there's Allah and nothingness. Then Allah creates something out of non-existence. What's the problem here? You see? The problem, first of all, is that we don't believe in non-existence. Because non-existence, it's non-existence. You can't say non-existence is. Look. You know, children understand this very well when they're 4 or 5. It's just the adults then kind of can't explain it well, and they say, no, there's a beginning to existence, and Allah created from nothing. And they shut the child up, and the child stops asking questions. Otherwise, the child, if you have experienced it, they say, what was there before? What was there before? And the parents say, nothing, there was nothing before. Look, that may be problematic. According to the Urafa, it may be problematic. Why? Because first of all, non-existence, they say, doesn't exist. Secondly, if you say Allah is and nothingness, Allah is sleeping. He's not manifesting yet. You say there's nothing, and then now he's beginning to manifest. So you've limited him. You've attributed sleep to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thirdly, you say Allah created something out of what? No thing. That's a contradiction in terms. Look, aqa'id is a rational endeavor. You can't do taqleed in aqa'id. You have to understand it. You can't say, I believe in this because X person said so. You can do that in taqleed, in fiqh. Because in fiqh, the knowledge itself isn't primary. That which is primary in fiqh, of primary importance for me and you, is acting upon the knowledge, not the knowledge itself. The knowledge itself in fiqh, the knowledge itself is of secondary importance. Acting upon the knowledge is important for me and you. And that's why we can do taqleed in fiqh. And we do taqleed of the experts of the knowledge of the Sharia. But in aqa'id, the knowledge is building you. You see? The knowledge is elevating your soul in aqa'id, in tawheed, in nubuwwah, in ma'ad. Here, taqleed you can't do. Yes, you can go to the expert, they explain it to you, and you listen and say, yes, I understand, I accept. But you can't, in doctrinal matters, in aqa'id, you can't say, X person said so, I believe in that. Why? Because there's no growth. There'll be no inner elevation. Because you haven't acquired conviction in relation to that article of faith. In aqa'id, you have to believe, understand and believe. As you understand and believe aqa'id, you grow, you become stronger. Your iman becomes stronger, and so on and so forth. So there's a difference here. I'm giving one interpretation, like the likes of Imam Khomeini has given, and others amongst the Urafa. There are other interpretations too. Yes. They have to be shared with you too, no problem. But whatever, at the end of the day, you have to see which one do you believe in. You can't just say, X person says this, I believe in that. Like that, there's no tawheed in you. There's no aqa'id within you. You have to understand. The problem is, if you say there's Allah and no thing, first problem, Allah is sleeping, is not manifesting. The second problem, something, Allah creates something out of no thing. That has to be a contradiction in terms. No? How can Allah create existence out of non-existence? Look, non-existence means nothing. When Allah says, when in Joshan Kabir, when it says, خَلَقَ الْأَشْيَاءَ مِنَ الْأَدَامِ, Allah creates things from nothing, this nothing has to be understood. For example, when a book is created from a tree, for example, the paper, you get it from trees. At the tree stage, there is no book. There is no book. There is no book with a length and a breadth and a depth and a weight. None of these exist. But it came from something. It came from the tree. Look, that's okay. That it came out of Adam. Adam, nothing, there was no definition. Adam, not nothingness in opposition to existence. Adam, nothingness in opposition to definition. That all things were once not defined, didn't have a length, breadth, depth, weight, and then Allah created it. From something though, not from non-existence. So this book, for example, this paper with this length, there was no length, no breadth, but it came from a tree. That's different to when you say it came from no thing. And again, that's what the Christians believe. The creationists amongst the Christians, they have a problem with this. The creationists, they say Allah created out of nothingness, non-existence. And that's why Dawkins, for example, has a problem with them. That's why Hawking had a problem with them. Many of the things they were saying were correct in relation to the Christian God. We have to see, how are we going to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? First give a definition of Allah, and then let's prove or disprove. So Allah doesn't sleep. And Allah, when He doesn't sleep, His attributes are always in function. He is Khaliq since pre-eternity. And to post-eternity, He's always creating. He's always giving rizq. That doesn't mean planet Earth will always be. It may be another planet, it may be another planet, another universe. But it's infinite. This physical realm is infinite. Even this physical realm is infinite. And all of Allah's attributes are in play moment to moment, since pre-eternity to post-eternity. Another problem is let's assume Allah creates something out of nothing. Let's assume that. That's problematic, at least philosophically. But let's assume that's the case, and Allah creates something out of nothingness. The result would be that creation would be mutually exclusive from Allah, would be segregated from Allah. Why? Because you are saying that there's Allah and non-existence. Okay. Then Allah creates, let's say, a sun, a moon, whatever, from non-existence. So this sun or moon or whatever creature has come from non-existence. If that's the case, that creature would be mutually exclusive and segregated from Allah. Why? Because it came from non-existence. There's no synchronicity or relationship with Allah here. Look. Whereas we believe, the Urafa believe, extracted from the du'as of the Imams, and even in other du'as in Nahjul Balagha from Amir al-Mu'mineen, the question and the term of tajalli is mentioned in Nahjul Balagha. Manifestation. Now this is very important, because whatever creation is a manifestation of Allah's attributes. It's manifesting Allah's attributes. Now look, I'll end with this point. All of Allah's attributes are specific to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you say Allah is wali, the guardian, it means no one else is the wali in independent, original terms. He is the wali. Full stop. So what do we mean when we say Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam is the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What we mean is this. We don't mean Amirul Mu'mineen has a wilaya independent from Allah. We don't mean Amirul Mu'mineen has a wilaya mutually exclusive to Allah. Look, we mean that Amirul Mu'mineen is manifesting, disclosing the one independent wilaya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like the sun and the moon. The moon reflects the light of the sun. Okay? The moon doesn't have any light on its own. All it's doing is disclosing the light of the sun. Amirul Mu'mineen, the Holy Messenger, the Imams, were maximum manifestations of Allah's attributes, like the moon to the sun. That's why they're so important. Look, this is a very important key in understanding the reality of an Imam. When you want to see who is the successor to the Holy Messenger, it's this key. Where is Allah's attributes manifesting more? In whom? You see? So they're just manifesting Allah's attributes. So Amirul Mu'mineen is manifesting Allah's wilaya, Allah's forgiveness, Allah's generosity, Allah's patience. After the demise, it turned to a maximum. He's manifesting this. Not that he is an independent wali. And I'll end with this point now. One of Allah's attributes in the du'as of Ahlul Bayt is Al-Mawjood, or in Du'a Mujid, Ya Mawjood. What are you going to say now? Oh, existing one. It's an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We've established that the attributes of Allah are specific to Allah. No one else has them independently, originally. So only Allah exists. Only Allah exists. So what about me and you here? What's the answer? We're just manifesting that existence. Everyone to their own degree. Not that we are existing beings mutually exclusive to Allah. Look, it's different here. So there's a unity between Allah and His manifestations. There's a unity here. There's not a disunity. And when Hawking criticizes the Christian God and says that the Christian God may exist, but we don't need it, why does Hawking say that? He's right. For example, he discovers all the mathematical formula and principles concerning, let's say, planet Earth. He sees why everything is happening according to its own formulae. And now there are people speaking of a God mutually exclusive to this. Well, then he'll say, well, okay, you can have your God, but we don't need that God because we've understood the principles. Hawking is right there. But if you tell Hawking, let us give you the definition of Allah according to the Quran. Huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru wal-dhahiru wal-batin. Allah is the first, the last, the inner, the outer. Let us give you the definition of Allah in the du'as of Ahlul Bayt. Ya Mawjood. In this sense, Allah, what we call Allah in theology, in philosophy, it's pure existence. Not existence in a shape or form. Pure existence. Now, can Hawking analyze all that mathematical theory without existence? Without existence? Of course not. It's impossible to deny Allah. It's impossible to deny pure existence. When you want to study the planet, you've already substantiated, established it's an existing thing. So you've accepted pure existence before studying the planet. No one can deny Allah. No one can deny pure existence. Even the mushrikeen, in relation to the verse of the Quran, when they say, who is the Khaliq, the creator of the heavens and earth, they say Allah. Their problem was in relation to other attributes of Allah. No one can deny pure existence. It's impossible. But when you segregate Allah from creation, it will cause a whole variety of different problems, and that's why it's so important to understand Tawheed, inshallah. We'll continue, inshallah, in the next session. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala tahirin.